You know the Quran's six-day creation story? We tend to think of it as this distant cosmic event, right? The very beginning of everything. But what if it's not just ancient history? What if that story is actually being rewritten inside you, right at this very moment?
So let's really dive into this idea. Because the source material suggests this isn't just about cosmology, it's actually the most intimate story of all. It's the map of your own personal journey, from a soul just waiting for a command to a being of choice and, ultimately, consequence.
So in this explainer, here's what we're going to do. We'll see how cosmic creation perfectly mirrors human birth. Then, we'll decode the core elements of light, fire, and water. We'll trace that pattern through some major prophetic stories, and finally, we'll tie it all together with this amazing concept called the Möbius Redemption, a loop that brings us right back to your own eternal choice.
Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to start by mapping those 6 days of creation directly onto the stages of human life inside the womb. And this is where the universe and the individual become one and the same story.
So before anything exists, there's water. The Quran says God's throne was upon it, which tells us that mercy is the absolute foundation of everything. Now think about the parallel. Before you were even conceived, your soul was right there, suspended in that exact same state of mercy, just a pure potential waiting for that divine command, be.
All right, now we enter the cycle itself, and it's built on three key elements: light, fire, and water. But these aren't just physical things. No, they are spiritual states, and they define every single stage of existence, from the whole cosmos down to the womb. Day 1 is all about light. Adam is formed from clay, becoming the very first vessel to carry that divine spark. And for you, this is the moment of conception. The Quran calls it the nutfa, a simple drop of fluid where that spark of light, that first principle of light, enters the unseen clay of the womb. But right on the heels of light comes fire, the test. In the grand cosmic story, this is Iblis, right? The embodiment of prideful rebellion who refuses to submit. And on a human scale, you get figures like Pharaoh, who represent this tyranny of fire. Your parallel to this moment? It's the stage of the alaka, the clinging clot, a fragile existence, literally holding on for dear life, tested from the absolute beginning.
Now, here's the crucial part. It's all about the response to that fire. Take Asiya, Pharaoh's wife. She is completely surrounded by this tyranny, by this fire. But her response isn't to fight fire with more fire. Instead, she turns away from it and seeks refuge in mercy, praying for a house with God. She chooses a totally different path.
So after the trial of fire, water returns as this incredible force of mercy. In the cosmos, mountains are set in place and sustenance begins to flow. And in the womb, this is the mudga stage, the chewed-like lump of flesh. The embryo is nourished and sustained by fluid, a perfect mirror of divine mercy protecting this incredibly fragile form.
Day 5 is fascinating. It brings smoke, a state of pure, unformed potential. The heavens are just waiting for a command to take shape. And this perfectly mirrors the moment the spirit, the ruh, is breathed into the human form. The body is all prepared, and now the very essence of choice, the capacity for both light and fire, is placed deep inside. And then, on day 6, the structure is complete. The heavens are finished, adorned with stars, which are described as fixed lamps for guidance. And this, of course, is birth. A new lamp, a new soul enters the world with its eyes open, ready to navigate the very same path of trial and mercy, guided by the lights that have been set in the heavens. So that's the blueprint, right? But what's amazing is that this pattern doesn't just happen once. This same cycle, light, fire, and water, it repeats again and again and again, woven all the way through the stories of the prophets. Okay, check this out. This table maps the cycle so clearly. Look at Isa, or Jesus. His story begins with light, it faces the fire of tyranny, he's sustained by the water of Miriam's purification, and it all culminates in a return to light with his birth. But now look at Musa, or Moses. His cycle also goes through light, fire, and water, but it ends differently, with the fire of the golden calf incident. You see, the outcome is never fixed.
And this really shows how the elements of the test have these dual meanings. The palm tree is a perfect example. For Miriam, it provides life-giving food. But for Asiya, a rope made from palm fiber becomes a tool of her trial. The very same object can either nourish you or it can burn you. It all depends on the context of your soul's journey. Okay, so we've seen a creation blueprint, and we've seen these repeating prophetic cycles. So how do they all connect? Well, the source material proposes this really fascinating model to unify them all, the Möbius strip.
Now, for anyone who doesn't know, a Möbius strip is basically just a loop with a half-twist in it. If you try to trace its surface, you find it only has one side. The inside becomes the outside, and the beginning just flows seamlessly right back into the end. It's a perfect metaphor for a story that is constantly looping back on itself. So you take the 6 days of creation, you lay the 6 stages of birth right over it, you weave in all those prophetic threads, and with that little half-twist, they stop being separate stories. They become one single, continuous, interconnected narrative, where every end is just a new beginning.
And what's the purpose of this whole loop? It's not just an endless trial. It's all about redemption. Every single cycle is designed to end with order being rebuilt from chaos. Asia prays for a house, a symbol of personal order. The great King Quranic builds a wall to contain societal chaos. And King Solomon, he builds a throne to establish justice.
The ultimate goal of this entire cosmic process, the whole point, is the establishment of divine light. It's a journey out of the smoke of potential, through the fire of trials and the water of mercy, all of it returning back to its source. It's light upon light.
And this brings the entire cosmic blueprint right back to where we started, you. This was never just a story about stars and prophets. It is the story of your soul. So if this cycle is the journey of your life, then the final outcome is your choice. You are given the elements of light, you face the test of fire, and you are offered the sustenance of water. So the question is, will you return to light? Will you be consumed by fire? Or will you become firewood, an object of trial for others? The story is still being written.